So the other night, I think it was Christmas Eve, I was walking, my wife and I were walking through Walgreens, picking up some last minute items, as people usually do. And we separate and go to different aisles. And as I'm walking down an aisle, there is a large man, probably about 30 years old, with his young son, who looked like he was about 4 or 5. And the man was pushing a cart. The boy was walking beside him. And in front of me, there was a woman who was facing the products on the shelves. So as he was approaching, and he said, "Hey, lady," and she turned around. And she says, "Yes," and he says, "Do you believe in Santa Claus?" And she says, acknowledging the boy that was there. She said, "Well, yes, I do." He says, "Just checking. Just want to keep the dream alive." And I here's the thing. Here's my problem with that, is I would have said no. Even with the little boy there. Now, I know people listening to this will probably have somewhat of a problem with that and think that I'm cruel and heartless. But I would beg to differ. I would say his father is cruel and heartless. And here's the reason why. Number one, I think he's an idiot. Don't ask questions from strangers assuming they're going to take your side on the matter, especially in front of people that you think count. Especially if you're trying to keep up a lie. And the whole Santa Claus story is a lie. Now, I think it's a cute story. I think it's a fun story. I like watching movies about that. Growing up, my parents never perpetuated it as a true story, but never disallowed us to enjoy the Santa Claus movies and the whole story, all the fun behind it. I get that. But this man was asking a complete stranger a question that he was not fully prepared to answer if it went any other way than what he was expecting. And I think that's his first mistake. Well, not first mistake. It's one of his mistakes. And if he had asked me, "I'm sorry," but I would have said, "No, I don't." And then what would he have said? Well, he would have probably told his son, "Well, he's just a Scrooge. He's just, whatever, how you fill in the blank." That's what he's going to say. But I guarantee he wasn't prepared for that. And, when you are going to ask questions, whether it's of a complete stranger or somebody that you know, be prepared to get a yes or no answer, or be prepared to hear something you don't like. There are too many people that are so used to just assuming that everyone around them is going to tell them what they want to hear. Hopefully, you're not one of those people. Now, don't think that I'm a horrible person for being willing to say yes. Because if his son would have been shocked by that, that would have been on the father, not on me. Here's my problem with the whole Santa Claus story. And I've heard this, I'm 48 years old. I've been around long enough to have heard this plenty of times about, and it's always coming from adults who say, I was devastated when I found out that my parents had lied to me about Santa Claus. I've heard that so many times. Now here's the thing. It's not a little lie. It's not a little lie. It's a huge lie, because the parents make a huge deal out of Santa Claus, and they use it to manipulate their children to be good. They want to see a gleam in their child's eye. They just want to keep up some kind of a tradition, or whatever the case might be, but it's not true. And eventually the child does find out, as they always do, and they're never happy about it. And then what happens is it becomes an issue of trust. Well, if my parents are going to lie to me about that, what else are they lying to me about? I mean, that was a pretty big deal. That was important to me. They made sure it was important to me, but they lied about it. So what, and somebody listening to this might say, "Oh, come on, Greg. That surely doesn't carry over to everything else in your life. I would argue that. I would certainly argue that. So be prepared not only to be able to accept whatever answer someone gives you when you ask a question, but be prepared to give an honest answer. An honest answer. Don't perpetuate lies to make yourself feel better, to try to keep up some kind of a tradition, to tell people what they want to hear. It's not worth it. Just be honest. Just be honest, especially if you're going to make a big deal about something. It's different if someone says, "Hi, how are you doing?" and you're not doing so great, and you say, "I'm doing fine." Because that might be a matter of, I don't want to get personal, I don't want to divulge personal information, I don't want to make it about me. That's different because neither one of you are really making a big deal about it. And chances are the person asking you really doesn't care that much anyway. But when something is made a huge deal about, you need to be honest. Now, I don't want to make this about Santa Claus. But right now, as you're watching this, you're thinking of your own examples, and you're thinking of how that could apply. And you might be one of those people that is very honest about things, and that is very willing to tell the truth. But certainly, kids don't need that, and neither do adults. And there's enough of that going on in our culture right now, where we tell people just what they want to hear. As much as I hate the liberal media, I'll have to say that even they know that they are perpetuating lies. Even they know it, and it's sickening. But they don't care, because it's all about manipulation. But it all starts way before they ever make it to the media. It all starts before they ever even get to a university. It all starts before they ever pick a major. It all starts before they even get old enough to start making decisions about what they're going to talk about with their friends. A lot of times it starts at home, and it's just not right. Be prepared to accept whatever answer people are willing to give you when you ask a question or don't ask the question at all, and be willing to give an honest answer when you are asked. Well, that's my thought for today, and I hope it meant something to you. If it has, feel free to share it, and I'll catch you in the next one. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.